A single Samara blew from the branch, beginning the deluge of spring. Too soon there were others massed on the ground, and many through breezes they fling. They gathered in doorways, and gathered on lawns. They gathered in places unseen. For weeks I struggled to gather them up, to keep our large driveway clean. Rain-soaked Samara makes many a shelter that hide all manner of bug, insect, larva, and nematode throughout the mulch they dug. Meanwhile I struggled to keep the rugs clean, and hallways and stairways as well. I swept at the doorway, I swept at the curb, I swept for 6 weeks in this hell. I collected Samara and put them in bags, and almost I threw them out. But wait just a second, my memory beckoned. The R's of recycling caused doubt. I could throw them out and fill up a bin, and others would sure do the same. Together they'd gather and fill up the site, but that use of land is a shame. I recalled I had heard a lot of our trash need not appear at the landfills. What's needed instead is to think out ahead, to preserve our farmland and sandhills. So I kept my collection to determine some uses and Googled for info on elm seed. I found image and text definitions galore, but not much advice that I could heed. Bokashi, I thought, is a definite way, and a movie of which I can boast. So I set out a bin to mix the stuff in, of Samara I'm turning to compost. But the mixture I'd swept had far too much sand that needed to go before treating. I sifted and sorted and filtered the stuff before the Bokashi mix meeting. Then, wetting it down to make nice and moist, preparing a microbial culture, I layered Samara with Bokashi on top and left the rest up to its nature. Some 7 weeks later, I opened the bin to sample the composting mixture. It worked rather well, so I added the pail to my backyard composting fixture. Then wondered did I if Samara or seed are suitable for everyday baking. So I rubbed a lot dry and washed until clean, without thinking of what I'd be making. I rubbed them in sunlight, I rubbed them in shade, I rubbed them till my fingers pained, but honestly said it's 10 minutes a cup for elm seeds to be physically gained. I began with 2 cups of Samara to yield 2 tablespoons of the raw seed. I set them aside and cleaned up some more. I didn't know how much I'd need. I add them to bread for a mild nutty taste, but my favorite form is much better. I add spelt and salt and sesame oil to make a great elm seed cracker. Served with white wine, a Chardonnay type, the nutty taste of elm lingers. Add local cheese, dips, and spreads. The flavors will mix on your fingers. So keep your Samara, don't throw them out. More garbage that we don't need. The spate of spring Samara is for yourself and your soil to feed.